I think these people are actually going beyond, what their jurisdiction is, if ever they have one, other than their opinions, perhaps. Okay, because to seek an asylum to another country, it's a prerogative of the country that will allow the entry of this person. Hindi ito dapat sinasaklawan ng anumang political forces na nandito sa atin. Kasi in the first place, ibinigay na natin di ba? Isinuko na natin, isinurrender na natin. Ito nga yung binabanggit natin dati. Bakit hindi natin dito nilitis? Bakit hindi natin dito pinagpatuloy yung trial? No? At bakit hindi niya rito kinaharap yung mga reklamo? Ngayon, na ipinasa na nila ang bola sa ICC at nandoon na nga ang ating dating Pangulo sa The Hague, what reason do these people have to stop another country, another sovereign entity from trying to render assistance? If it's an asylum, if it's any other kind of legal assistance, lumalabas kasi, wala na tayong control doon because our legal systems are not the ones in function at the moment. So if they're putting undue pressure on the ICC, or if they're putting undue pressure to whatever country that will render assistance to the former president, I think medyo meron tayong problema rito, Because, like I said, isinuko mo na, inilabas mo na, pero ngayon, manghihimasok ka pa din. So, I don't see any reason or any logic behind that, except for the fact that they really want the former president to face political persecution.
Dito lang ako sa naging tugon ni Vice President Sara Duterte kasi meron kasing naging panawagan itong Makati Business Club at iba pang mga business groups di umano na dapat pagpatuloy ang impeachment trial dyan po sa Senado at mag-convene na at para daw magpakita ito ng accountability at makapag-boost di umano ng investor confidence. Ang tugon dito ng pangalawang Pangulo, sabi nga niya dito, sabi niya kahit daw andyan na o wala pa yung impeachment, wala na daw investors confidence sa bansa. At dahil na makikita naman daw sa foreign direct investment na mababa. Kaya sabi pa ni VP Sara, wag siyang gawing rason kung bakit pangit ang takbo ng ekonomiya sa bansa. At pagbibigay din pa ng pangalawang Pangulo, hindi raw accountability ang impeachment dahil dalawa lang ang penalties niyan. Matanggal siya sa serbisyo at hindi na siya pwedeng manungkulan. Unlike kung gusto talaga ng accountability ay maghain po ng kaso sa korte na doon meron talagang parusa sakaling mapatunayan na may kasalanan. Ano po yung pananaw niyo ukol dito, Prof?
Well, basically, when we look at the bigger picture, and I've always maintained this in several other interviews, that the only reason why they are really parang barking on the vice president here is because of the 2028 presidential elections, in which the vice president has the upper hand technically. And more than that, I don't see any reason why they need to do this to the vice president. To think that she is just a spare tire, I mean, wala naman talaga siyang cabinet position na hinahawakan ngayon, and she is not being entrusted with any official function other than the fact that she is the sitting vice president. So I agree that if they really want to not just accuse, but to see that there is parang the wheels of justice that will go against the vice president, we have perfectly functioning legal institutions in which this could be done. You could file a case by the ombudsman. Later on, she could be tried at the Sandigan Bayan. She could be filed criminal cases for this. And ito hindi nila na-exhaust they immediately proceeded with impeachment because of the sole reason that if she will be impeached, that will be the end of her political career. And that will mean mawawala or mababawasan technically yung malakas na makakalaban, lalong-lalo na ng administration sa 2028. So I think it's all about politics. It's not really about accountability, because if it's accountability, then I go with what she said, that there are other ways by which we could demand that from her, and worse, po pwede pa siyang masampahan ng mga kriminal na kaso, no? And ito hindi naman ang mangyayari with an impeachment case.
Po, doon naman sinasabing para daw magkaroon ng confidence yung mga investor, kaya dapat ituloy itong impeachment, Prof.
I also I would partly agree with that. No? If we want to show that we have perfectly running or functional legal and political institutions, pwede naman natin gawin yon. Pero hindi natin kasi po pwedeng gawin yon out of a show, no? Just to impress foreign direct investors, just for them to show, or for us to show to them na yun nga, meron tayong ganitong mga proseso na sinusunod. At the end of the day, wala naman silang masyadong masasabi nating bearing pagdating doon sa ating political imperatives. Economic-wise, maybe there is. No? Pero whatever will happen out of this impeachment proceeding, wala naman sila talagang kumaga masyadong magiging benefit para sa kanila. No? Pero we wanted to see that everything is satisfied or satisfactory, like I said, in terms of form and substance, because an impeachment proceeding is not an easy deliberation to begin with. We are removing a duly elected public official from her position, and in this case, the vice president. So it's like you're countering the voice of those millions that put her in power, and the only way by which we could do that is through a good impartial trial. No? And yun nga yung binabanggit natin, that it has to go through the rigorous process and ensure that there is sufficiency in form and substance before we could proceed.
Dito naman tayo sa nabisto po ng OpenAI, ang nasa likod po ng ChatGPT, na napag-alaman nga na merong isang PR firm sa bansa, no, ang gumagamit at nabisto at dinelete yung profile nila dahil ginagamit yung platform na ChatGPT para makalikha ng mga hindi organic na mga komento, anti-VP Sara at pro-Marcos na mga komento, at yun ang ginagamit nila doon sa mga posting, no, sa social media, sa Meta, sa TikTok. At nabanggit nga ito nasagot din ito ni VP Sara na wala na siyang plano na sampan ito ng kaso kasi grabe na yung katindi, yung kahihiyan na idinulot sa kanila kasi pinangalanan na yun na mga anak na isang negosyante, and talagang malinaw na may kaugnayan pa rin sa politika sa 2028 ang dahilan kung bakit nangyari ito sa kanya. Pero ang kanyang tanong, bakit hindi ito iniimbestigahan, dahil kung mga pro-Duterte ang mga involved, abay, kung maalala natin, yung sa TRICOM, agad-agad ipinatawag, Prof.
Yes, gano'n naman talaga, no? And nagiging maliwanag naman itong trend na to, no, dito sa administration na ito, no? So if you are really in favor of the administration, kahit may mga katiwalian o may mga mali na ginagawa, kagaya nga halimbawa nung naganap na pag-aresto sa ating dating Pangulo, no, instead of corrective measures, anong binigay natin doon sa isa sa mga arkitekto nito, isang magandang promotion. So everything, of course, is political, the way we see it. And ang problema lang dito sa mga AI mechanisms or tools na to is that we don't have yet an enabling law, okay, that could effectively penalize itong mga wrongdoers na to, no? Because let's face it, ChatGPT is still relatively new. only came about in 2022. And right now, we don't have yet a law na masasabi nating may sapat na pangil para labanan itong mga ginagawa ng artificial intelligence. No? Hindi lang naman itong ChatGPT, including yung deepfake, among others, no? Which really paints the reputation of any individual. And in this particular case, medyo mahirap tayong humanap ng legal resolve or legal remedy, no? Especially because the Vice President for the Dutertes are going against the administration. So it's really hard, no, to do that, especially because the PCO as well as the DICT is within the control of the Chief Executive because these are cabinet positions.
Ito bang ganitong klase ng propaganda, Prof? Malinaw na ba ito na talagang napakalakas ni Vice President Sara Duterte na to the point na gagastos ng malaki para lang sa propaganda laban sa kanya at pagpuri sa administrasyon? Kasi hindi mo naman iisipin na nandito ito sa panig ng mga Duterte kasi alam naman natin, may pera ba sila? Sabi, lagi nga nang sinasabi na nasa administrasyon, no? Kaya nga maraming malapit sa administrasyon, malapit sa kusina, kaya nga napausad yung impeachment.
Yes, definitely. No? Alam naman natin, if we're going to look at the bigger picture, it's really all about 2028. No? And kung tutuusin, maliit na pera lamang ito kumpara doon sa maaring mawala pa sa kanila just in case hindi nila maisa sa katuparan yung kanilang agenda to actually have the control of the government beyond 2028. So I think it's common sense that they will do and that they will pay and that they will do everything in their power or in their disposal to ensure that the Vice President will not be able to run and that she will not be able to win in 2028. Because if ever this happens, I think that will be the end and the failure of their grand agenda.
Opo. Dito naman po sa interim release na hiniling ng depensa sa ICC, no, sa panig po ni former President Rodrigo Duterte, na sinasabi nga po doon sa kanilang sa dokumento na nakasa doon sa kanilang hiling na hindi daw nag-oppose dito ang prosecution, no? And at the same time, merong naglabas po ng banta, yung Wansambayan ba yun, grupo ng mga dilaw na nagbabanta doon sa bansa na kukup-kup dito po sa dating Pangulo. Ano pong nakikita nyo ukol dito naman po, Prof?
Well, I think these people are actually going beyond, you know, what their jurisdiction is, if ever they have one, you know, other than their opinions, perhaps. Okay? Because to seek an asylum to another country, it's a prerogative of the country that will allow the entry of this person. You know, hindi ito dapat sinasaklawan ng anumang political forces na nandito sa atin. Kasi in the first place, ibinigay na natin di ba? Isinuko na natin, isinurrender na natin. Ito nga yung binabanggit natin dati. Bakit hindi natin dito nilitis? Bakit hindi natin dito pinagpatuloy yung trial, no? At bakit hindi niya rito kinaharap yung mga reklamo? Ngayon, na ipinasa na nila ang bola sa ICC at nandoon na nga ang ating dating Pangulo sa The Hague, no? What reason do these people have to stop, no, another country, another sovereign entity from trying to render assistance? If it's an asylum, if it's any other kind of legal assistance, lumalabas kasi, no, wala na tayong control doon because our legal systems are not the ones in function at the moment. So if they're putting undue pressure on the ICC, or if they're putting undue pressure to whatever country that will render assistance to the former president, I think medyo meron tayong problema rito, no? Because, like I said, isinuko mo na, inilabas mo na, pero ngayon, manghihimasok ka pa din. So, I don't see any reason or any logic behind that, except for the fact that they really want the former president to face political persecution.
Sabi nga ni Mayor Baste Duterte na kung wala naman silang warheads, itong One Sambayan, ay tumahimik na lang sila dahil hindi na nababantaan itong mga bansa na ito. Pero napakapangit din po, di po ba, Prof? Kasi sabi nila, rule of law, dapat sumunod. Kaya nga sumunod sa proseso. Ang kampo ni dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte kasi nandun na ang dating Pangulo. Pero ito, merong hiling at karapatan naman nilang humiling sa interim release abay para silang diktador na hindi pwede at babantaan yung bansa na kukup-kup, no, dito sa dating Pangulo.
Yes, definitely, because it's very clear that they have the agenda. And one of which is that they really don't want the president to be able to go back in the country. No? Because if ever the president will be able to go back, that will be another big blow to their grand plan or to their grand design. And it might really strengthen even further the candidacy and the presidential bid of the vice president come 2028. So kung lahat kasi nito, pagtatagni-tagniin natin at tatahiin natin, ano, ang talagang pinupuntos lang naman ito at ang talagang patutunguhan lang naman ito, walang iba kundi 2028. All the actions, all the positionings, all the political events that are happening right now are within the context already of the 2028 presidential elections, because this will be a very important turning point, no, for the political history of the country, particularly, especially when you look at the two families that are contending right now. And I think they're doing everything they can, not only the administration, but also the third force, like the liberals, no, just to ensure that the vice president will not be able to go back and to win in 2028.
Opo. Samantala, huli na lang po mula sa akin, Prof, no? Last month, nang marinig natin ang pahayag ni DILG Secretary Junvic Rimulya na ang pamamaraan para makapag-oath taking, makatake ng oath si dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte na pinili po ng nakararaming mga Dabawenyo para maging kanila pong alkalde muli sa lungsod po ng Davao. Pero hanggang ngayon ay hindi pa rin ito na isa sa katuparan at wala tayong naririnig. Ang mga pagtatanong ay doon pinupukol sa panig po ng mga Duterte na parang wala naman sa kanila ang control na ukol dito kasi nabanggit ni Secretary Junvic Rimulya ng DILG na merong mula sa embahada, makikipag-ugnayan sa ICC, doon magkakaroon ng oath taking, pero wala pa tayong update mula doon sa side po ng ating pamahalaan, Prof. Kung ito po ay tahimik at hindi maisakatuparan, ano po ang magiging implikasyon po nito? Kasi taong bayan mula sa Davao City ang nagpahayag na kanilang gusto na maging alkalde ang dating Pangulo, pero hanggang ngayon ay wala pang progreso po ukol dito, Prof.
Yes, tama po yan, ano? Kasi ang jurisdiction halimbawa ng COMELEC dito sa kaso will only be until June 30. Now, after June 30, since he is a locally elected public official, the jurisdiction now will be rendered over to the DILG. And this will be the case, as far as I know, meron lang binibigay na certain time frame before we could be able to bago kumbaga magkaroon ng action ang DILG as to who will be the interim place taker or placeholder of the mayor of a certain city until such time that he will be able to go back. I think it's enshrined naman in Republic Act 7160, yung ating local government code, yung procedures regarding this. Kaya lang kasi medyo unprecedented itong pangyayari na to dahil nga kasi yung ating elected official hindi naman dahil sa kanyang incapacity, no, out of his own volition kung bakit hindi siya makaupo, no, kundi sa kadahilanan na siya nga ay napadala or pinaalis, no, at dinala dito sa isang foreign country, no. So I think it's not about physical inability, it's not about any kind of infirmary, it's not about any kind of defects, no, mental, physical or otherwise, because I think the former president is very much fit to perform his duty. It's just that yun nga, siya ay wala rito. So I think it's the DILG later on, based on the contents of the Republic Act 7160 and how they will be able to resolve this.
Opo. Prof, speaking of 2028, may kinalaman ho ba sa darating na 2028 election ay yung bagong acting PDP Laban President ngayon? Walang iba kundi si Vice Mayor Baste Duterte. Pinalitan po niya si Senator Robin Padilla.
Yes, actually, magandang development ito, no? For one, so that Senator Robin Padilla could also focus on his legislative agenda heading again to the 2028 elections. And also another good thing, no, para si Mayor Baste Duterte mabigyan din naman ng mas magandang exposure dito sa partido. So I think both ways magiging beneficial ito, no, para sa partido, because I believe naman na may kakayahan itong si Baste Duterte to actually lead na the party, and this is good actually insofar as the trajectory of the party is concerned.